custom font to your Shopify store? Here's how. I'm going to do this video in two parts. To start off, I'm going to run through the whole process super quick. So if you already have knowledge with CSS and kind of know what to do, you just need to watch the first couple minutes of this video and then you should be able to go off on your own. After I've done that, I'm going to take you through and hold your hand step by step, show you how to install the custom fonts, and also teach you a little bit about CSS along the way. Now, if you are a beginner, I recommend just watching the fast version as well so that you can get an overview of what we're gonna do, and then I'm gonna walk you through step by step. So let's get straight into it. First thing we wanna do is find the font that we wanna use. We're gonna download that, and then we're going to Google OTF to WFF2 converter or whatever font type you downloaded, because we need this in WFF and we need WFF2. So go ahead and convert both your fonts into WFF and FF2, download them back to your computer, and then we need to upload them to Shopify. So in the back end of Shopify, come to Content, Files, hit the Upload Files button over here, and then upload your two fonts. Once you've done that, you should see them just here, Sweet Signature WFF and FF2. Then we need to come to our theme, so we go Edit Code, and then we come to theme.liquid. And inside the head tag, we should see a closing style tag, in style. We want to add this @font face rule. I'll put the code in the description below. So put that in there, put your font family as whatever you want to call it, and then the source URLs, we've got two of them. We've got the WFF2 version and the FF version. So for those URLs, come to here and click this link, copy link, the FF2, and paste that into here into the URL. That's the FF2 version, and then the URL for the FF version is from the same place, just the other one. Once you've done that, all that's left is assigning the font to the different elements we want to use. Now you could do that with H1 and then type the font family rule. You could do it that way, but I like to just rewrite the global variable, which is just a little bit further up. So we scroll back up, find the font family, font body family, and the font heading family rules, and all I do is I copy this, paste it down, and then delete that and type my font family that I want there. And the reason I do this is because it applies it globally, and then also it provides that rollback in case my font doesn't load for some reason. And then if I hit save, preview store, you can see I now have the world's ugliest font all over my store for the heading and the body. Alright, now I'm going to walk you through step by step how to add custom fonts to your Shopify store. So for example, here is my test store, and you can see I have this boring generic font here as my heading, and then I've also got another one for my body text as well. And I want to make that a much cooler font that is relevant to my brand. So the first thing that I do is come to the back end of Shopify where our themes are, and I'm just going to duplicate the existing theme that we have because we never want to make changes to the live theme in case we muck something up. So we copy that, and now we can work on this copied or duplicate version of the theme without worrying about affecting our live theme. And the first thing we want to do is come to Customize. We want to go Theme Settings, Typography, and then have a look at these two options. We've got the heading and we've got the body, and we want to hit change here, and we just want to look through all of these fonts. These actually come from Google Fonts, I believe. They're the default fonts for Shopify, and the easiest way is if you can find the font that you want in here, just select it and use that. Now if you can't add or find the font that you want in there, I'm going to show you now how to add our custom font. So let's just back out of that. The first thing we want to do is find the custom font that we want to use. So I found this super ugly font here. We want to download that to our computer, and you also want to make sure you have the commercial rights for this, or don't, up to you, but ideally the commercial rights. So you download that to your computer, and then what you want to do is type in font converter into Google. So I use this cloudconvert.com, and you can add your files. Usually they come in OTF, so open OTF file, convert that to WFF2 and WFF. We want both of those file versions in case WFF2 isn't supported. We have both, and then the computer can roll back and use the standard one. So once we have those uploaded and converted to WFF, we want to download them to our computer, and then we need to upload them to the theme, to our Shopify store. So we come to Shopify, and this is the home option. On the left hand side you'll see content, click that, and then go to files under content, and you can see I've got my 2 font files uploaded already, but if you didn't, you'd just click upload files, you'd select your 2 files, hit open, and then they'd upload to this, right? So we want to leave this open, and in another tab go back to our online store. So right click online store, open link in new tab. This way we can switch back between the two. And we want to go to our copy of our live theme that we created before, and click the 3 dots, hit edit code. Now that we're in the code, we want to look for theme.liquid. So on the left hand side, that should be right at the top, hit theme.liquid. You're going to see a bunch of code here. The main thing we want to look for is we've got this open head tag. We want to scroll down, keep scrolling, and then we see a closing head tag. So within this head tag, the open and the close, we should see end style. So here we go, end style. And this is some CSS that's within our theme.liquid that defines a bunch of stuff for our theme. And CSS is essentially just the look of your theme. So we want to come to the bottom of that and add a couple of lines by hitting enter. And then what we want to do is go to the description in this video, go to the link, and you should be able to see a page that has this, and we copy this code here. So copy that code and then come back to our theme file and we add that in. So this is an at font face rule, and the reason why we need this is because the font that we want to use is probably not downloaded onto the computer of the person viewing our store. And so what we want to do is we want to tell their computer to download our font and then display it on the website, right? So we just uploaded our font to Shopify, so that comes along with our website. Now we need to tell their computer to actually download it. So what we want to do is just change the font family name, and we're replacing from the square brackets. Now mine's called Sweet Signature. It doesn't really matter what you call it as long as you call it the same thing, spell it the same way, and have the same exact syntax. So that means if you've got a capital S, use a capital S everywhere you spell it. If you've got a space, use a space everywhere you spell it as well. So once you've got the font family name put there, the next thing is to replace these 2 URL placeholders. So the first one we've got is for WFF2, and then we've got the WFF as well. So the computer will look for this one first, and if it can't find that, it'll then look for the WFF version, which is why we wanted both of those versions when we converted them just before. So we go back to our files in our other tab, and we find WFF2, we click this copy link. And we come back and we paste that, replacing the square brackets, right? And then we do the same thing for the other one. Standard WFF, copy, and paste that there. Boom. Now we hit save. So now we have uploaded our font files to the Shopify. So that's with our website, it's living on our website. Then we've used the font face rule, this at font face. The code is in the link in the description. We've used the at font face rule to tell our user's computer to download the font that we uploaded to our website. So when they view the website, they're essentially downloading that website onto their computer so that they can view it, or their cell phone, whatever device. We're also telling them to download the font as well. So now that they've downloaded that font, they have access to that. We just need to tell the website what font to use on what elements. So before you saw that we had like a heading element and a body element, there are actually a bunch of other elements within those 2 categories. Like you've got H1 for the main heading, H2 for the secondary heading, and we need to tell the computer what font we want to use where. So the easiest way to do that is for me to show you. If you come to our live site, so we can hit that by, let's come back a step, hit preview store. That'll load your demo store that you're working on, and you can see that our font looks exactly the same. We haven't assigned it or told the computer which font to use for this particular heading or for this body text, or for this button, for example. So the easiest way to figure out what all of these are is to right click, hit inspect, and then what we want to do is hit this little arrow in a box here. The one next to it just toggles it between mobile view and desktop view. But if we hit this little inspect icon, we can now hover over different elements and it tells us what they are. So if we hover over this main one, you can see the top left corner, it says H2, and then this one here says P, right? And then you see that's a strong, and so on. So if we click on that, when we hover over it, you can actually see the font there is Helvetica. So what we want to do is we want to tell the H2 element to use the Sweet Signature font or whatever font we've uploaded, as opposed to Helvetica. So the first way that we can do that is come back to our theme in the backend in the code, and we add another line under our font face, and we go H2, open curly brackets, font dash family, colon, and then we put our Sweet Signature like that, and that needs to be spelled in the exact same way that we define it there. And then we close that off by putting a semicolon after that. Once we've done that, we can now hit save, and then we preview store again, and we can see looks like absolutely nothing has changed. So let's inspect, right click inspect, let's hover over that same one, and we can see it's still Helvetica. Now why is that? Well, CSS actually has what's called a priority, and it means that these different style rules may or may not get applied depending on what priority level they are. So if you hover over it, so click that little pencil or icon in a box thing, click on that H2, on the right hand side under Elements, Styles, you'll see a list of all these styles that have been applied and overwritten to that particular element. And if we scroll down, we can see here, we do in fact have our font family Sweet Signature, but then slightly up here, we've got font family var dash dash font dash heading dash family, right? So the first way we can get over this is to come back to our theme files, and we can use this keyword, which is exclamation point important. And that essentially just forces this rule to apply over pretty much anything else. So if we hit that and we hit save, and now we hit preview store, you'll see that it's forced our font to work. Okay, so that's just made our font, it's overridden any other styles and said, this is the most important style that I want to be applying to this. Now that is not usually the best practice way. It's a bit of a hack using that important keyword. So what I want to do is actually remove that, and not use that, but now our font isn't going to apply. So the way I actually want to do this is with a variable. As you saw in here on this list of different styles that we've been applying, this one, font family, was overriding our Sweet Signature, and that's actually a variable. So that's being used for all the different font types in our theme. So you can see here, here's a list of them, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H0, H1. So it actually makes it a lot easier if we just overwrite this variable, because then we don't have to go through the entire theme and select every single different element and apply it to that. We could do it like that, but that's just a bit of a pain in the ass. So what we're going to do is delete that, and if we scroll just a little bit further up, we'll see where all of our CSS variables are defined. And a variable is essentially just a placeholder that we assign once, and then our website reuses that value over and over and over again. So you'll see here we have dash dash font body family, and then font heading family as well. So all we have to do is copy this first line, highlight that, Control Command C, and then enter, put another one, and then delete these double curly brackets, and just put exactly what we had before, Sweet Signature. And then we're going to do that for the exact same one, but for this font dash heading family. So we've got the body there, and then we want the heading as well. So we copy that, hit enter, paste that there, and then do the exact same thing. Sweet signature. Now, the other benefit to overriding this is that if this is unavailable for some reason, if our custom font, we didn't do something properly, or for some reason that's not working, the theme's just going to roll back to the original one that it had, because the way that it applies these styles is generally top to bottom. So it's first saying, right, I want the body font to be this one, and then it's overriding that and saying, no, actually I want the body font to be this one. So if our sweet signature is unavailable, then it's just going to roll back to the previous one that it had. And the previous one is actually set by the theme customizer. So I'll just quickly show you that again. If we go to online store and hit customize on our theme, where we had the theme settings, where we originally looked for the fonts, and we hit change here, this is where that comes from. So that is a variable for this settings.typebodyfamily.font. So that's where that information is coming from. So just keep in mind that if you're doing this, if you're overriding this variable here like I am, those selectors are no longer going to work. So if you want to roll back to a different font and use that different selector, you will need to come in here and get rid of this line. But now if we hit save, wait for that to save, and then we hit preview store, it's now applied our font to the entire store. So every element is now using that font, and we didn't have to manually go and assign that to like H1, H2, and so on. So that's the quickest, easiest, and most complete way to add the font to the entire theme. And if I wanted to remove that, I could delete that, but I could also just hit Command or Control // and that's just going to comment out that line so that the website builder, the code, does not recognize it. Save that, and then preview store again, and it's just going to roll back to the original font from that font selector that it used. And the last final thing, once we have previewed our store and we've checked that everything is working how we want it to work, so I would need to then uncomment that, which I can just select the same line, Command // let me just save that, preview it very quickly. Cool, so that is looking, I'm all happy with that. Now I just need to go back and publish this theme so that it's live. And now that would make our live website have our custom fonts. And that is how to add custom CSS fonts to your Shopify store. Hit the like button if you like this video, leave a comment if you get stuck, or if you didn't like this video, let us know what we could do to do better. I'm going to be releasing videos like this each and every single week, so hit that subscribe button to stay notified, and I'll see you in the next one.